evening. I'm Tiana Webb Evans, founder of ESP Group and the founder and creative director of Yard Concept. And welcome to UrbanGlass's virtual VIP cocktails with our honorees, Deborah Czeresko and Barbara Tober, and me. These ladies do not need any introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. Artist Deborah Czeresko is a longtime devoted member of the UrbanGlass community and winner of Netflix's competitive glassblowing show, Blown Away Season 1. In honoring Deborah, we are excited to celebrate the dynamic contributions of women working in glass. Her vocal and undeterred pursuit of this material helped redefine the image of the glassblower. Deborah's work is included in many important collections, including the permanent collections of the Corning Museum of Glass, Corning, New York, Toledo Museum of Art, Toledo, Ohio, the Museum of American Glass, Millville, New Jersey, Glass Museum, Ebeltoft, Denmark, and Fraunau Glass Museum, Fraunau, West Germany. Barbara Tober is a philanthropist, collector, patron of the arts, journalist, and an executive who shattered publishing's glass ceiling as editor-in-chief of Condé Nast's Brides magazine for 30 years. We are thrilled to honor Barbara's outstanding professional achievements alongside her dedicated advocacy on behalf of craft and design. Among many other leading roles, Barbara is the president of the Acronym Fund, a firm that invests in art-related projects worldwide. She also chairs the International Council and Education Committee and serves as the chairperson emerita of the Museum of Arts and Design in New York. Both Deborah and Barbara are in the UrbanGlass Hot Shop, so let's meet them there.
So I'm watching Deborah, and she is apparently making a poetic potato, because I read that her poetic potatoes won all sorts of awards, and I've seen them full of little flowers and so on and so forth. And it's always fascinating to me to watch a very small egg of glass grow bigger and bigger, and it is doing that under her tutelage. Her very gracious, and she is not even burning herself a bit, which I think takes quite a bit of practice in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Now the rod is not hot, am I correct, or is it?
Yeah, it is really down here. You can see it glowing here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take one more gather of glass. So.
Are you going to gather some more glass? All right.
Yeah, I don't want it to be small potatoes.
We never want a small potato, do we?
Medium potatoes. What's that called? A baking potato.
A baking potato. Okay. I like that. That's my favorite anyway. And the thing that I always eat is the skin. And what you're going to be preparing is the skin of the beautiful vase that's coming out of it. She is the main attraction here, although there are many other places. They call them glory holes. And there are many, many other places where they are blown in this room. Now she's gone back to the fine glass, and she's putting another layer on it because that will solidify the color. She may even put another.
This is a potato
layer.
Skin.
It's the potato skin.
Yeah.
By the way, that's the only thing I ever eat. Is the potato skin with lots of butter and Parmesan cheese. That's my favorite. I don't bother with the potato. Why is it called the glory hole?
Because glorious things come out of it.
She says glorious things come out of it. I think that's a fair. I have a feeling it has other rather sexual connotations, but I won't bring that up.
Whatever it is, it's been desensitized in my world.
It's been desensitized because it's too hot to handle. But here, I'm beginning to see that it's getting a life of its own. It's actually beginning to be now it's still her captive,
Whoa!
You know, it's definitely that she's in charge here.
One
But
can only hope.
it's beginning to
Stop.
have its own personality.
Here we go. Some more eyes are coming.
Oh boy. She's treating it. Oh, she's giving it eyes. She's giving it potato eyes. Oh, and it's flaming just a little bit. Oh, it's so dramatic. Very, very exciting. The potato is beginning to actually sprout and live. And it's coming out of its shell and into a real life garden.
Wow.
I must say, I think she probably has a lot of muscle in her arms because this is not an easy process. She decided to make a potato because she won an award for doing a whole series of very poetic potatoes. That's why I said poetic potato. She actually was judged #1 for doing these potatoes. They were, it was described as oddly poetic potatoes, but they are vases, and then you can put very pretty flowers in them, and it feels more like a garden to have the flowers in a potato than it does to have them in just a plain, flat, straight-sided vase. And the one thing I do not want to have happen is for it to
Just a regular dome punty.
break.
You say potato, I say potato. Let's call the whole thing off. Remember that song?
You say
Tomato, tomato.
you've got potato and potato, and I'm saying vase and vase.
There we go.
It's whichever seems to roll off the tongue at the time. She's stretching the neckline of the vase. And she's making it bigger and bigger and bigger, the better to hold some flowers.
Notice the metallics coming out in the color? It's a baking potato, so it's got metal on it.
More color.
Ah!
Not organic.
This is not an organic potato. This is pre-organic.
It is quite extraordinary to watch. I noticed walking into UrbanGlass that even the cement outside of UrbanGlass has little shards of glass in it so that it twinkles as you walk on it, which I find very artistic. But I wouldn't expect anything less of them. After all, it is a glass school, and it has been here for many, many decades.
Remember to go outward.
Now she's flowing into it, which makes it even more specific.
Final move, here we go. More eyes at the top, and then that's it. Then you gotta put it away.
Okay. Eyes at the top. But it's a beautiful top, Deborah.
Thank you.
It really works great. And she's putting more eyes into the potato, just to make it look more like a potato. It's very charming and ready for a flower. Not this moment, perhaps, but definitely in the near future.
It's done.
Bravo, Deborah. Well done.
Thanks, Barbara. Now we're gonna put it in the kiln.
If it was just left out, it would break all on its own. It needs to go very slowly.
She's gonna grab it with those gloves, camera person.
very slowly.
Here we go.
It just
Ready?
cools off. Wow. Pretty soon it's going to fall into her arms.
Grab it.
And her arms are...
We're gonna go that way.
And they're putting it in the annealing
Devon's
oven.
got the door.
And the base is completely flat. She's seen to that. And the top is the beautiful lip for the flowers is very well crafted.
Good evening, ladies. Thank you for coming back to us and spending time with us. It is exciting to get to this moment where we get to learn a little bit more about your journeys, both in terms of your careers, but as well as in terms of your relationship with UrbanGlass. So I'm going to throw out just a few questions so we can get to know you both better. And I look forward to speaking with you. So first question here. Deborah, this one is for you. What sparks your interest in glass making as an art form?
Oh, well, my glassmaking journey was kind of like a mystical thing. I was attracted to it. It was a mystical occurrence in that I was just drawn to it. It connected with something deep inside of me. And I realize now, after reflecting on it, that it was me in the material world. So it's my personality, but as a material. So I was basically seeing myself in the material. I found it very androgynous, the material, and I see myself as an androgynous person. So I was very attracted to it, how it went between states of hard and soft, and it's very transmutational. I'm going to talk in mystical terms here.
That's good.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's interesting because that is definitely a point of departure for me as well. So that really speaks to my heart, and actually it's ahead of its time because now that dialogue is very much front and center. But for you coming forward, with that in the 80s must have been quite avant-garde and quite radical outside of those intimate art circles. Barbara, in terms of your journey, when was the moment you realized you were interested in craft and design?
I would say that as soon as I was able to form my own environment, but I was always inspired by butterflies and insects and other creatures. I was born in 1934, before DDT, before all of the pesticides, and the whole world around me was full of creatures. You picked up a rock, there was a creature. You looked at a plant, there was a butterfly floating around it. You went past a tree and another moth would fly out with its underwings bright red. And it was a glorious time at night. There would be around the lights 1 million different insects, June bugs and stag beetles and silk moths and so on. So I was absolutely overwhelmed by the beauty of all this. When I was 6 years old, I wanted to be an entomologist and live in Madagascar. So you can see that I was slightly influenced by this whole world of entomology. Now, transfer that to a world of New York. I moved to New York. I was very young. I had my own apartment. I had my own life to live and to carve out, which was an interesting journey to be sure. And so I bought plain white dishes, and I did the usual things that people do when they're trying to take care of themselves. And then I said, I need to sweeten it. I need to make it interesting. I need to give some sense to it and some structure and some excitement. And so I went looking for all kinds of things that made my world, in my own world, really interesting. And everything I bought was by craftspeople. And so I remember Julie was on Madison Avenue. Yes, Julie Artisans, and she's written a whole book about craftsmanship and all that. And she was a sterling figure in my young life. and buying things from her. But I found them everywhere. And I in my career, I went to many, many, many shows, tabletop shows, furniture shows, all sorts of things. And in those days, they were starting to import things from all over the world, from Nepal and Indonesia and Africa and Scandinavia. And there were new ideas everywhere. And I collected them. I bought what I could afford, and I put it in my home. And then as time went by, I became more and more interested. And one day, I was invited by Julie to a benefit for what is now the Museum of Arts and Design. And it was a Jean Williams Casacito coat. And you opened up the coat and it told you where it was and how much it was and all that. And so I said to my husband at that time, let's go to this. There were no benefits in those days except some very fancy thing at the Waldorf. And so I said, let's just buy a ticket and go. And we went and we bought the Jean Williams Casacito coat, which I since have given to the Museum of Arts and Design because it was so precious I couldn't bear to check it anywhere. So I never wore it. And it's been a jungle of pleasure and advancement in that world and of discovery ever since.
That's extraordinary. So a question for both of you. You know, Barbara, I know that you're a trailblazer in the publishing world as the first woman to be an editor-in-chief of a major national publication, especially for a decade. And Deborah, you're a groundbreaking voice for women artists. How have you both seen the landscape for women change since you started working?
So for me, it's a little more complicated. I'm showing up as a woman, and I'm also showing up as a queer person, and seeing how that trajectory's changed over years. Because when I started Glass, the AIDS crisis was raging, and that obviously people were demonizing queer people, and that's when I took on glass blowing. So that was a very formative. I was at once trying to be very creative, and at another time being very attacked for who I was. I was being embraced for my creativity, but being attacked for who I was as a person. And over the years, the world has definitely opened up, painfully slow, I have to say. But now on the blowing floor, we definitely see more women, we definitely see more queer people. And a lot of people that meet me say that having me here helped them feel like it was a safe space for them to come into. So that gave me a great sense of purpose that I still feel today and still get that kind of feedback today. But I have seen it change. It's just too slow, honestly. I just want to see this whole thing explode and change overnight. I'm a little impatient at this point.
I think impatience has served all of us well in its different forms. Barbara, how would you respond to the question?
So I went to New York City and I got a job, and you start out as a secretary or a page. You're running errands, you're taking things down to the courthouse to be signed, or you do whatever it is you do. And then you do the next thing up, and then you do the next thing up. And so I kept doing that, and I have a lot of years behind me, so I have a lot of experience in carving out my own space. And my own space was always, I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to make things happen my way, and so not without listening to people. I mean, I'm actually a very good boss, but I wanted to carve out a space for myself, and I did. And when I became editor-in-chief of Brides magazine, you see, I wasn't the first woman to be an editor-in-chief of a magazine. That is very important for everybody to know, that I am not claiming that. There were other women who were editors-in-chief of magazines. There was Vogue magazine, the famous Diana Vreeland. There was this and that. There was Mademoiselle had a woman editor, Glamour had a woman. So, you know, it's not me first, but 30 years is the longest tenure that anybody ever had at Condé Nast Publications. And I'm rather proud of that. But every year, what we did was we looked at the anthropology. One of my very dearest friends is Helen Fisher, and she's a very famous anthropologist. And I used to sit at the feet of Margaret Mead. And Margaret Mead was the greatest anthropologist. And Helen and I both sat at the feet of Margaret Mead. And we learned that the world turns on anthropology, that anthropology is your key to what is going to happen, what is happening for you, what is going to happen for all of us. Anthropology, and now, unfortunately, population is going to have a lot of effect on the future of humanity, but I won't go there. So it was very interesting to me to see how many rules needed to be broken at Brides Magazine. Why is it only her in the picture? Why is it only her family that announces it? Why not bring both families the way they were doing it in Europe, for example? I became head of the Pan-Pacific and Southeast Asia Women's Association so that I could study what was happening in Asia. And I realized that we were so Eurocentric here in America that we had no idea of what was going on in Asia. And as time went by, we just kept carving out new rules and rewriting the etiquette book. We did 7 different editions while I was editor-in-chief. And then I did a big book for Abrams on the whole history of marriage. So it's all based in how human behavior changes. It has to do with love and marriage and all those good things. But it is human behavior that you are studying all the time, and you are doing that too, in your own way, here, with your own philosophy. And you're doing it we are all an experiment ready for the future.
Absolutely, and I love the idea of that visionary pathway. You know, visioning a future, demanding the future, creating the future. You know, Deborah just said the word transmutation, transmutating the energy and the ideas, whether it be a material transmutation or cultural transmutation. But one thing that's really extraordinary when you think about leadership is that idea of affecting change. And that's really why, you know, you both are here today, because you're change makers. Deborah, I just wanted to ask you a question, you know, just bring it back to you and your experience in terms of Netflix. I mean, Netflix has had a very big impact because we're able to see more just culturally. We're not limited to the rules of the old TV stations. We can explore because you have a platform that's pushing new ideas forward aggressively, right? So how did participating in this project change your attitude towards television as a medium for widening access to art?
Well, it really opened my eyes that it could happen through a commercial platform like that. Whether it's an introduction to art, it definitely has brought so many people, specifically in the case of what I was on, Blown Away, introduced them to glass and art. And some of the feedback I got that was very positive was how I explained my work, emails and DMs about people not understanding art at all until I articulated what I was trying to put into, say, the egg. What that meant to me and the metaphorical power that object had. And I got a lot of feedback that people started to appreciate art on a different level. And so I think it depends who's on the show and what they can teach the people. But in the case of me, the feedback I got was people were learning more about how to approach art, at least how to open up to metaphor. I mean, we do it all the time with emojis, right? they're metaphorical, but people don't make that connection. They see the art gallery as a put-off, that you need education to explore art a lot of the times. And so I think it really did cross a boundary with this elitism that previously art has been seen that way, which I think is awesome. I think that was, I don't think all art should be super commercial and super TV worthy. Don't get me wrong, I think I love pretty controversial art as well. But I think glass in particular is a good intro to art because it's so captivating. And then just to go beyond the technical, to see people respond that way was really amazing, to see that Netflix could do that.
I'm going to turn to Barbara for a moment. You know, what has inspired you to continually champion the arts all these years? And then what suggestions would you have for people who would like to get involved in art leadership, stewardship, and philanthropy?
Thank you for asking those questions. I can't imagine getting up in the morning without wanting to see something beautiful. And therefore, I try to make my environment beautiful. If I'm making a fried egg, I want to make it very attractive. I think that, you know, we just need to put ourselves in a place where what we are looking at makes us feel better, healthier, more human, more uplifted. And it isn't necessarily a religion, but it's part of a religion to have that feeling about life in general and to seek it out and make it happen if it's not there. And this morning I was talking to somebody who I really appreciate very much because he's helped me with several of my projects. And he was talking about another artist who he was going to go see this afternoon, and he was going to be talking about how he could help him and so on and so forth. And I said, how about introducing him to this artist over here, number C or D? And he said, oh my God, of course, why not? Oh, they could do so much together. So, you know, if you wrap your arms around A, art, and B, humanity, and try and bring them together at all times, I think it's much a more beautiful life.
That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. I love the idea of this religiosity. You know, if you're going to be religious about anything, being religious about beauty and humanity would be the thing to be religious about. So just to circle back to UrbanGlass, this question is for you both. We can start with Deborah. How did you learn about UrbanGlass, and what captured your interest the most?
Well, that's when I found glass. It was at the old, or it was called something else, but it was this organization, UrbanGlass, that was my starting point. So without it, I wouldn't be a glassblower. I don't know what I would be. I was on the edge there. It was a turning point for me, and sort of, in a way, it really changed my life for the positive. And my career has been a slow burn. And I think I'm really coming into my prime right now. So throughout the years, it's been a meaningful place to me. It's where I make, it's where I have family. It's really an important place for me. That's why I try to help it and foster it throughout the years.
Barbara, how did you connect to the UrbanGlass community?
So it's a place it's a place of creativity and importance, and it has changed and it has grown and it has a new name and a new environment, and it's to be celebrated. It's a very, very important place to learn how to do a great work of art.
You know, sort of what is the most enriching aspect of being part of the UrbanGlass community? that you hope to share with other artists and makers?
Oh, I think it's kind of this idea of mentorship, learning through educating through verbal and through demonstration as opposed to academic learning. I find that very meaningful and very familial. So that type of learning, to me, sort of fuels me, and it's the way I like to teach is through mentorship. So there's a lot of that goes on at Urban, where you bring people up and they become artists in their own right, and creators in their own right, makers in their own right. But they start as, say, your assistant, and you get to watch people grow. It's really beautiful. And honestly, through all that's happened, through the turmoil of the past few years, people show up for each other and support each other in ways. It's very important that we're all there for each other. Having this creative family is very important.
Absolutely. And in closing, just a last question for you both. Given the past year, what do you both think art needs in terms of our lives now and in the future, given this new perspective on the world that we all have?
What comes to mind for me is creating cultural content with purpose and connection to other humans and for change is really, really important to me. And I think I'm at the beginning of that. I said my career is a slow burn. I'm growing into that now, and that's something I find really was meaningful in the pandemic. Just content to begin with. People needed that coming through their screens. And then the worth of art in our lives, I think it just becomes so obvious that we don't want to exist in just like steel boxes or whatever we create. We need to have things of meaning around us, people's with intention in it. So I think the pandemic solidified that for me.
It was devastating for some people, one of whom I was married to have life reduced to a screen, especially having Parkinson's, which was, just the second devastation, or the first devastation, perhaps. So we need a wider world, and we need to think beyond our own belly button. So whoever we are, everyone is not going to be like us. And we got to know that and celebrate it. And that's my last word on the subject, because that's art in itself.
That is gorgeous. And on that note, thank you both, honorees, visionaries, leaders, trailblazers, for setting the path, for leading us forward. I'm sure everyone that is enjoying this evening's program will take your words with them, and I appreciate your time. Now, thank you all for joining us. Deborah and Barbara, again, thank you so much for this fun and insightful chat. The incredible strides that you've made in your respective fields and your passion and talent is much appreciated. And now we have the main event to get to, more cocktails to drink. So everyone, have a great night.
Howdy folks, it's me, Billy. Nice to meet you. You can click that button below if you want to go to the main event. Y'all enjoy your drinks. Just kidding. My name is Billy Cash, and I'm gonna be your host for this year's first UrbanGlass Virtual Gala. That's right, let's say hello to. I'm so very excited that you could join us tonight, and we're gonna have a great show for you. We're gonna honor a bunch of amazing folks who are mostly women, and we're also gonna fish into your little leather weasel sets for a good cause, so hold those tight. Now, it's been one of the toughest years in UrbanGlass's 44-year history. Even when we were forced to shut our doors, we continued to work every single day to make sure this place was safe for everybody to come back to. And personally, I've been working very hard to grow this here mustache. And as a fully vaccinated man, I am excited to show it to you. All right, so let's get to it, shall we? Oops.
Well, you're not wearing pants.
What do you mean?
You don't have pants on.
Well, you can't see that. You're on the Zoom. On the Zoom, you waist up. You can't see my pants. I don't know what you're talking about. Come on, let's get to it. Now, some of you that work here every day might be like, who that Billy Cash? I ain't seen him before. Well, for your information, I live here in this here closet. Always have. Any hooser, let's get to it, shall we? We are here to honor two maiden folk, Deborah Czeresko and Barbara Tober. Now, these two fine people have truly redefined the roles for women in their respective fields. Barbara, for her singular influence in publishing as the editor-in-chief of Brides magazine for 30 years, and her dedicated advocacy for craft and design. And Deborah, for carrying out space for women in the glassblowing studio, and her practice has helped redefine the image of the glassblower. Hot and gay. In our journey together tonight, we will also be hearing from a few other special guests who have been very important to our mission to staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. And I would like to give a big ol' holler to some very special supporters, Fred and Susan Sanders, Mel and Nettie Weiner, and one of our honorees, Barbara Tober. What does the old UrbanGlass look like for the future, you might be wondering? Well, in the upcoming months, we are excited to continue expanding our unparalleled roster of socially distant private lessons. All right, open the door. Don't look at me, look at the glass. Now stay 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. Oh, 6 feet, 6 feet. Online classes. Oh my God, I'm so excited about my virtual class. It's a neon installation and mounting. It starts on May 19th, but I'm so excited I'm early. But hey, listen, there's still room in the class, so why don't you join me? You can go over to urbanglass.org/classes, and I'll see you there. I'll be here. School partnerships. I cannot wait to work together. Virtual lectures.
Why, yes, Angela, this is made of glass. That's correct. It's correct.
Dynamic exhibitions. Glass Magazine's continued insight on the field.
Hey there, Andrew. I have a question for you. How do you feel about ceramics?
Excuse me, haven't you seen the title of this magazine?
And ongoing access to UrbanGlass's professional studios.
Getting hungry.
You know, while we're going to have all the fun that we're going to have tonight, I do want to remind you all that this is, in fact, a fundraiser. That's right. And so tonight you're going to be able to donate right here on this button. You see it? On the button. Right here. You're going to be able to donate. All right, you're sitting there wondering, well, Billy, where will all my money go? How much should I donate? Well, boy, oh boy, do I have the answers for you. $10,000 will support a studio resident for an entire year, like one of our tonight's honorees, Deborah Czeresko. It allows them to make groundbreaking work, aka turkeys. Now, I hear there's a turkey in the auction, and that's a rumor, but it's also true, so hold your money for that. And if you're like, whoa, Billy, slow down, $10,000 is too big for my little tiny old weasel sack, well then have no fear. Even a $100 gift will provide AV equipment, which will help us deliver year-round, low-cost virtual programs to more than 25,000, I said 25,000 artists and students of all ages. I mean, look at Gail. If you're like Billy.
I want some more bang for my buck.
Well, then you're also in luck. Because tonight, throughout the night, you'll be able to bid on some incredible artworks. And I'll be like, blah, 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 going once. Our auction will include artworks from all these amazing artists, including Kiki Smith, Sherry Mendelson, Catherine Gray, Chris Woolston, and many more. Whew. I just got shivers with the excitement about how exciting tonight's gonna be. But before I, do something inappropriate, I'm gonna pass the torch off to the big kahuna in charge, the captain of the ship, the leader singer of the band, executive director of UrbanGlass, Devin Mathis. And don't forget that you can donate and go to the silent auction. There's lots of good stuff in there. And then you can talk to your friends in the chat about how much fun you're having all night. And you talk to me too. You can call me. I'll answer.
Welcome to the Gala of Galas for this season. I'm Margaret Rose Vendries, Professor of Art History for the City University of New York and a curator and a visual artist. My home base is in Queens, where I'm a sister to some of the city's most talented yet underrepresented artists. I'm aware of the challenges posed by this unrelenting pandemic for our artists and also for the cultural spaces that have supported them. I'm here tonight talking to you because institutions like UrbanGlass must survive. Because working with glass, this magical and volatile medium, requires specialized equipment and spaces to exist. Not only is UrbanGlass essential to its artist practitioners, like tonight's honoree, Deborah Czeresko, but to those of us who live with glassworks that bring delight into our everyday. I hold in my hand an example of Deborah's work from when we met in graduate school in New Orleans 20 years ago. Her skills have expanded with access to professional facilities like UrbanGlass. But the audacious way she manipulates glass was very much evident even back then with this warrior sable. Supporting our city's arts institutions makes work like Deborah's possible. Keeping UrbanGlass open and alive is vital to our cities, particularly as we return to life as we know it should be, full of art that inspires reflection and brings joy. Get to know UrbanGlass better. Support what UrbanGlass does. Raise your glass tonight at our gala and have a really good time. Thank you.
Whoa, Margaret, watch her, you're swinging that thing. Now, y'all better listen to her or else she's gonna come get you with that sword. Man. But really, seriously, thank you, Margaret. I couldn't have said it better myself. I truly, really couldn't have at all. Now, I'm very excited to introduce our next presenter, Katja Heller. Now, Katja is the director of Heller Gallery up in Chelsea. It's a nice area. And Katja is also UrbanGlass's board chair. And Katja is just generally a key ingredient into our UrbanGlass potion. Now, a little bit about Katja. Katja was born and raised in Czechoslovakia with an American mother and Czech father. And her profession, before she was all of those amazing things I mentioned earlier, was an interpreter for personalities as diverse as the Czech president, Václav Havel, Frank Zappa, Walter Cronkite, man of my own flavor, boy I do love his mustache, and the Dalai Lama, all of them. So not only is Katja good with her mouth, but also she is an enthusiastic supporter of the Bead Project. This is a scholarship program here at UrbanGlass designed for creatively inclined, economically disadvantaged women in New York. You can support this project too. Remember, there's a donate button, press it. All right, now hang on a second. We got a call coming in as we speak. Hello, UrbanGlass hotline. Gala, Billy speaking. Oh, wow, yes, this is my real mustache. Thank you for asking. Oh, you would like to donate? That's great. How much? $2. Oh my God, this is so generous. All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye now. There you have it, folks. Money is pouring in already. Let's keep it going. Top that caller with a $5,000 gift, which buys toolkits for Bead Project students to learn the art of glass bead making, simple jewelry fabrication, and techniques and entrepreneurial skills that will help them grow a small creative business. Now, that's a party if you ask me. Speaking of party, let's give it up for our next performer, Katja Heller.
Good evening and welcome to UrbanGlass's first ever virtual gala. I'm Katja Heller, Chair of UrbanGlass's Board of Directors. For 44 years now, UrbanGlass has been the nexus of an ever-growing glass-centric network of makers, designers, educators, students, curators, artists, and supporters like yourselves who are woven into the cultural fabric of New York City and across the globe. Tonight we celebrate this amazing group of creatives and entrepreneurs and raise funds for the generations to come. Let me start by giving a big thank you to the staff led by our talented and tireless Executive Director Devin Mathis and my dedicated fellow board members who together have shepherded UrbanGlass through perhaps the most difficult year of its existence. And congratulations to our honorees, publishing trailblazer, staunch design and craft supporter, and exemplary philanthropist Barbara Tober, and to Deborah Czeresko, artist, UrbanGlass studio user, and community member, and the winner of the first season of Netflix's reality TV show Blown Away. Deborah and Barbara, your leadership opens paths wider every day for those who continue in your footsteps, so thank you. And to all of you joining us, thank you for being here to help us celebrate and support UrbanGlass. Please take a look at the wonderful items included in the auction and bid generously if you are able. Every piece has been donated by an UrbanGlass artist or designer. It takes all of us to help make UrbanGlass work, and we very much need and greatly appreciate your support. We really do. Last but not least, I hope that you actually enjoy this evening and that it gives you a small taste of UrbanGlass's wonderful, creative, and ever-expanding community. We look forward to welcoming each and every one of you back to UrbanGlass in person as soon as possible. Thank you and enjoy.
Thanks there, Katya. Our next presenter is an American arts executive and philanthropist. She's also the president and chief executive officer of Chihuly Incorporated, which includes Chihuly Studio, Chihuly Workshop, some Chihuly t-shirts, and some more Chihuly stuff. All of these places in which feature artwork and visions of her husband, Dale Chihuly. I heard in my gossip class that she's also BFFs and goes way back with one of our honorees, Barbara Tober. Now, let's give it up for Leslie Jackson Chihuly.
Good evening, everyone. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to be able to introduce and acknowledge my dear friend and mentor, Barbara Tober. You could not have honored a more deserving recipient than Barbara. I met Barbara in around 1994, just after I met and started working with my husband, Dale. And she really became an example to me of what female leadership, what arts leadership, philanthropy, generosity, style, attention to detail, what that could really mean, and the way that she's impacted so many artists, her deep love of artists, the way that she's impacted and sustained so many incredible arts organizations across the country and in New York City. I really had an opportunity to watch her work when she was 15 years in the chair position for the Museum of Art and Design. I saw her tenacity, her ability to bring people together around a vision, her unwillingness to accept no and to just keep driving ahead. Last year, she and I were able to have about a 2-hour lunch at Robert upstairs at Museum of Art and Design and to sort of share our personal stories, to look back over this last 25 years that we've known one another, to talk about her dear love, Donald, and what was happening there. I'm so blessed to have known her, to be able to count her as a friend, and to be able to honor her tonight with this really important group of people at UrbanGlass, who Dale and I have been involved with over many years as well. So congratulations, Barbara. It's your evening. Thank you so much for everything you've done for arts and culture and for all of us.
There is no glass ceiling in this world of yours. Heaven for a glass blower is infinite. Your glass is always full of promise. Even when it breaks, you can gather it again and start over. And starting over is always an adventure. It has been an adventure for me to be here and watch glassblowers over the years create such glistening magic. And I look forward to seeing what creativity will emerge over the years ahead. Thank you so much for this beautiful award and for giving me the opportunity to talk to your constituency about the medium that has captivated artists for centuries and will undoubtedly continue to do so. Bravo and Excelsior.
Hello, everybody. I hope you've been enjoying the evening so far. My name is Cynthia Manichurian, and I am trustee at UrbanGlass since the 1980s. I'm here to congratulate Barbara. Barbara, there's no one more deserving of the award you just accepted, Service to the Field. No one. When I think back all the years I've known you, since the beginning of my tenure here as a trustee at UrbanGlass, you have taught me how to be an effective board member, how to care about everything, the artists, the staff, other board members, funders, how to sustain a not-for-profit institution through thick and thin. Currently, as we all know, this world has had thin times. So in this difficult year, Barbara, I can't thank you enough for being recognized by UrbanGlass. For those of you who don't know Barbara, young artists, newer donors, Barbara really has laid the building blocks that have helped UrbanGlass to be what we are. You might not realize her contributions to the field, but they matter, and they matter very specifically to UrbanGlass. So Barbara, I raise a glass to you. I'll admire you forever. I look forward to the next chapter. Hopefully the next chapter is coming sooner rather than later. In the meantime, Barbara has been incredibly generous and has offered us wonderful funding for our COVID relief fund. I hope you'll match some of her gift by going on our website, and whatever you can afford, we really appreciate. Barbara, you are a leader. I want to be like you when I grow up, and I'm so happy that you partner with UrbanGlass. Congratulations again. This time I'm going to drink. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your evening. More to come. All my best. Hope to see you all in the studio soon. Bye.
I'm Devin Mathis, the Executive Director of UrbanGlass. As we enter 2020, UrbanGlass is in the middle of our busiest season. The studio and gallery were filled with artists and students joining us from across the 5 boroughs and around the world. Our studio was booked from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week, and we had a full semester of classes serving 300 students. Our artist fellows and residents were creating some of the most ambitious projects our studio had ever seen. And we were expanding the BEAD project to offer a more comprehensive support program for the alumni base. We had hosted the largest audience of our family-friendly open studios to date. We were developing new community partnerships with public schools, senior centers, and veterans facilities. And we were gearing up for this very gala. Then, without warning, COVID-19 changed our lives. Forced to shut down, hundreds of pounds of glass were ladled out of dormant furnaces. Our artists and students found themselves without a studio, without the tools they needed to make their work and earn critical income. Our gallery and retail center went dark. Our exhibition Outer Special was forced to close just days after opening. And our staff went remote, working tirelessly from our separate corners, trying to keep UrbanGlass afloat. Like the city of New York itself, the extraordinary world of UrbanGlass had all but shuttered. To continue working to keep us together while
3 to 4 months while we were figuring out how to reopen. We spent a lot of time reading the news, following the science, and sort of looking at the best practices to bring everybody back as safely as possible. Throughout the closure, staying in touch with the students was one of the best things that I had while we were closed. I got so many emails from students expressing kindness and gratitude, reaching out to see how I was doing, how UrbanGlass was doing. At one point, I sent out an email to all of our regular students, checking in on them, sharing a picture of my dog to bring a smile, and just reminding them that UrbanGlass will still be there for them whenever we get through this.
Thanks to the enduring strength and passion of the UrbanGlass community, we were able to reopen and welcome folks back in June. With new carefully crafted safety protocols in place, we're steadily building back. As a vital source of solace, motivation, and creative fulfillment, we're excited to continue expanding the unique resources we offer for the people who make up our incredible community, as we've done since 1977.
I always was really interested in being able to work with my hands, and making models was my favorite thing, part of the architecture process. And so I was always really into creating. And I think that's like one of the great things that I was able to experience last semester, is that because we were able to still have classes in person, even though there was COVID, there were precautions and safety measures put in place, we were able to still create.
This is some of my stash from my hard work yesterday, and I'm going to take them home tonight, start cleaning them up, and start putting them into pieces, be it jewelry, necklaces, earrings, bracelets. Who knows what I'll make with them. UrbanGlass has been wonderful during this difficult time because it has provided me with resiliency to continue to go on. Yes, it's been hard on a lot of people, but I'm just very thankful that UrbanGlass has been here for me, so I can continue to move forward and just trudge another day, another moment. For me, UrbanGlass is the happiest place in Brooklyn, and I'm so, so grateful it's here.
I'm endlessly grateful for the loyalty and devotion our community has shown us during this very difficult period in UrbanGlass's long history. We've come so far, but we still need your help. We are continuing to work harder than ever to maintain our one-of-a-kind programming and facility and look ahead to the future.
UrbanGlass Hotline, this is Billy speaking. What do you mean I'm not wearing pants again? I'm on a Zoom call. You can only see me from the waist up no matter what on Zoom. What do you mean you see me on the toilet? I turned the, Wasn't that video moving? I am so glad things are back and happening again here at UrbanGlass. Like we said earlier, it has been one of the toughest years, and we are continuously adapting to all of our changing climates. That's why we need you to donate right now. Help us move forward from these hard times and avoid embarrassment like what just happened to me in the bathroom on national Zoom television. That's something I'm never going to live down for the rest of my life. Anyway, need some more inspiration? All right, well, follow me. You like to read? Well, a measly $1,000 will support a feature in UrbanGlass's Glass magazine. Glass, the UrbanGlass Art Quarterly. I mean, look how cool it is. Look. Look at that. 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 All right, you still not impressed? Fine. You follow me now. You see, $500 keeps our furnaces on and the glass flowing for 1 week. This enables our professional artists to push the boundaries of glass in all of its molten glory medium. Look at it. This molten. Are you still not impressed? Well, that sounds like a personal problem. But $250 will enable an interactive virtual glass making demonstration for students who are very eager to learn about glass.
What's that?
Also featuring a live Q&A with an expert teaching artist. And then see, you gotta put this in like that, and then do that, and then put it on top. Ta-da! All right, listen, any gift helps, truly. But to be honest, I know most of you want to win something at that silent auction, and lucky for you, our next presenter has a piece down on in there. So, Beth Littman. Now, Beth is a contemporary glass artist who's best known for her still life compositions that reference 16th and 17th century European paintings. Now, I personally love Beth's work so much that it got me here still life tattoo on my ankle. I made sure to tell them to put lots of glass in it too. All right, Beth, take it away.
Hello, my name is Beth Lipman, and I would like to acknowledge that this event is being held on the traditional lands of the Lenape people and pay my respects for elders both past and present. I am honored to introduce Deborah Czeresko, an artist and designer who has had a tremendous impact on my life personally and professionally as a teacher, mentor, employer, and friend. Czeresko is based in New York City and is best known for her work in glass. Her participation in Netflix's reality TV show, Blown Away, introduced her virtuosity and dynamic personality to an international audience, sparking a cult following as well as a wider appreciation of the glass movement. Her work expressively rendered common food staples such as eggs, meat, and potatoes have an absurdist and surreal quality that references art history and subverts patriarchal stereotypes. Czeresko's masterwork, Meat Chandelier, was featured in New Glass Now at the Corning Museum of Glass. Her work is held in many museum collections, including the Corning Museum of Glass, the Museum of American Glass, the Glass Museum Ebeltoft, and the Frauenau Glass Museum. She started working with glass in 1987 at the New York Experimental Glass Workshop, now UrbanGlass, where she studied with the scholar and glassmaker William Gudenrath. She received her MFA from Tulane University in 1992. Today, her studio practice includes hot glass sculpting, performance, and collaboration. Czeresko has been a dynamic instructor and visiting artist at many universities in the United States and in Europe. Her rigorous studio methods have dramatically influenced countless emerging artists and makers. She is a highly sought-after master fabricator who has worked with numerous recognized artists, architects, and designers. Please join me in congratulating this year's UrbanGlass Gala and Auction honoree, Deborah Czeresko.
Thank you, Beth, for that beautiful introduction. I'm so happy that you're working in this field. As a teacher of yours, we go back over 30 years. And I'm so grateful tonight to all of you for coming. If you're here tonight, you're part of the greater glass family in some way, and you're dedicated to the field of glass, or one of us here. So I'm honored to receive this UrbanGlass award because UrbanGlass is where I learned to blow glass. And my life was changed as a result in many positive ways over the course of 35 years. I've been coming through these doors and reinventing myself for the most recent win on Blown Away. Another life-changing situation. But in all seriousness, I would love to dedicate this award tonight to the staff and board of UrbanGlass, particularly now because of you. We have survived, we as an organization have survived one of the biggest crises of the 21st century, the pandemic, with the incredible leadership of Devin Mathis, who, with caring and steady guidance, has gotten this organization, along with the chairman of the board, Katja Heller, gotten this organization to survive in the worst of times. Many arts organizations were folding. So, with gratitude tonight, I am dedicating this award to the staff and board. Thank you for giving me this, and I'll see you in the future.
Oh, that's Deborah from Netflix. I saw her on that there TV. Thank you, Deborah. You're truly a pioneer, and I really, really love your work, especially your meat sticks, although they don't taste that great. Well, folks, our time together is sadly coming to an end. And honestly, I got a burrito that's calling my name. Baby, I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there in a minute. Now, I would like to thank all you people in that chat for tuning in. I'd like to thank our honorees, Deborah and Barbara, and our sponsors. Thank you all who have donated tonight to this lovely establishment, UrbanGlass, and to the artists who've donated work. And don't forget, your little weasel sack ain't empty until it's empty. And lucky for you, we have 30 minutes left at the silent auction. So go on, get it. Get it. It's good stuff. Get it. Now, I got a hot date with my burrito, so if you excuse me. Good night, y'all. Come on, baby. I'm hungry. Come on, baby. Yeah, I know. Oh, dang it. You're right. I forgot. Okay, hold on one second. Hold on one second. All right, I'm coming. I'll be right back.